All right, today we're going to be analyzing Kylie Jenner's birth chart, looking at the astrology to see the path of her consciousness, the spiritual evolution she's meant to undergo in this incarnation. We're going to look at the psychological blocks that are holding her back from moving along that path for her soul to develop. And then finally, alchemy, the transformational process that'll make those psychological blocks lessened so she can move along that path in a smoother, more efficient manner. So let's start off with the best part, which is the South Node, North Node, Ketu, Rahu axis, where we start with the South Node, which is the part of the chart where we are most karmically developed, karmically comfortable, okay? Part where, in this instance for Kylie Jenner, she spent many lifetimes, past lives, developing her Pisces and the third house. So starting with the house, third house is communication, it's media, and in this case, it can be social media, right? Because that's the new age, it's the internet, it is our siblings, our associates, our teammates, people we do stuff with to accomplish a goal. It is our will, it is our effort, okay? And it's also exercise. These are all things that Kylie Jenner is very karmically comfortable with. She's come into this incarnation with an ability, a savvy, and understanding of how to communicate, how to present herself in a media format, project her likeness in an expansive way across the internet, which again is signified by the third house. Also siblings, right? As her peers, teammates, the Kardashians, they're all these sisters, and the Jenners, like they're all known for being these sisters. Obviously, she has her mother that has been influential, but her and her sister are really close and have been finding success together, as well as her half-sister, Kim, Chloe, and I don't remember the Kim, Chloe, and I don't know. I'm not that well versed, right? And then in Pisces is all about surrender, relaxation, liberation, also not dirty, but being willing to get messy or to not be overly focused on the details. I would say that Kylie has actually developed quite well in moving to her North Node, because her North Node is in Virgo in the 9th house, but it's with its Lord Mercury, who is exalted. And it's also with Venus, which is a benefic, and Venus and Mercury love each other. And despite the fact that Venus is debilitated, it is delighted by being in a mercurial sign, its friend, and with Mercury itself, who is exalted. So it's a powerful 9th house. Rahu's Lord is in a good situation. Whenever you have the North Node with its Lord, meaning in this case, Virgo, ruled by Mercury, with Rahu, in good position, in good dignity, you get someone who's able to step into their North Node, Rahu house better. So the North Node, the 9th house, is all about spirituality, but more specifically religious law, higher learning, gurus, teachers, spiritual journeys, and also culture and the parents as well. So she's developing that. And she's also developing purpose, because purpose is the 9th house. But even though she's done a decent job for moving from her third house, because she's utilized that and developed it well, and moving towards her 9th house, the main thing that seems to be standing in the way is a true purpose. There does seem to be a lacking of vision, individual vision and drive, because the third house is it's a social house. It's based off of the desires we have, but it involves relating to other people, where the 9th house is dharma. It is our own personal path based off of our own unique individuality, not based off of the external influences or the external pressures or the social, right? The social involvements that we have, the social exchanges, because third house is also exchanging of ideas. So yeah, there's a purpose lacking there. There's a certain understanding of a higher being, right? That the 9th house signifies that seems to be missing. But when it comes to Virgo things of being detail-oriented, organized, meticulous, Pisces is all about big picture. When you have South Node in Pisces, somebody who wants to be seen as good, as big, as expansive. Somebody like Mr. Beast has Pisces with the South Node. Virgo is more about the details, specifics, the material. But in this instance, because it's in the 9th house, she is meant to work hard, be precise, be detailed, in spiritual practices, in processes that are specific to her soul and her path, based off of something that's more meaningful than just the material. Okay? All right, so let's go to what is blocking her, the psychological blocks that are holding her back from moving forward along this path in a more healthy way. First, burnout. Why I say this is look, she has a pretty decent chart. I mean, you don't become a billionaire at whatever she was, 23, because you don't have some stuff going on. Don't care if she was part of the Kardashian family. There's tons of people who have famous parents, famous families, and they don't make a fraction of the success that she's been able to achieve doing a lot of nothing, if we're being honest. So we have Saturn in Aries, where it's debilitated. It's also starred by Mars because Saturn hates Mars. We also have Mars directly aspecting Saturn. So when you have an intense double starving like that, where Saturn is in Aries and starred by Mars, you have somebody who is focusing their energy, their will, their power, Mars, on things that are not for them. Saturn, trash, garbage, external things that they're not meant to be doing. Saturn. So Saturn's the don't planet, and Mars is the we will do this, we will take action to get our needs met. So what's happening is that she is somebody who is focusing on fixing problems that she is not meant to be fixing. This can manifest in the cosmetic surgery she's gotten, not accepting her body, not accepting herself. This could manifest in her desire to micromanage the people in her life, partners or friends or whatever it is, or focusing her energy on problems like being universally liked or being seen as attractive by everybody and constantly having to tweak things and constantly trying to mold herself into what she believes the public will most approve of her. Because she also has, in the 10th house in Libra, she has her Chiron, which is the wounded healer. It's our deepest spiritual wound, is wherever Chiron is in the chart. 10th house is the public. It's visibility. It's being seen by a bunch of people. Also, Libra is a social sign. It's a social exchange, business, trade, but also win-win scenarios. So she very much probably finds herself trying to make herself into what she believes everyone will like. And when she sees that people don't approve of her, even if it might be a small select group of people, but also in her case, a large group of people because she's so famous, it'll get to her. And she tries to do things to fix that problem, which in reality, it's like, not everyone's gonna like you. You're gonna have to accept the fact that you're a public figure. People are gonna not think you're attractive or dislike you or whatever it is, and it's not something you can fix, it's something you have to accept. Some people are just gonna have their pathologies. You're not here to fix their problems, they need to fix their own. Classic, whenever Mars is strongly aspecting Saturn, especially opposing it, opposition, or in a Mars sign like Aries or Scorpio, you have somebody who is trying to fix other people's problems or trying to fix problems that are not for them. And it leads to failure. Because when you try to fix someone else's problems, or problems that are not meant to be solved by you, it always leads to failure. You're only meant to solve the problems that are for you to solve. That's what Mars is. It's solvable problems. And when Mars is focused on something that is not them, Saturn, it leads to failure, sadness, also burnout, because you're working overtime for no reason. It's actually counterproductive. It's negative reason. Neuroses. We get that from Venus in Virgo, where it's debilitated, because Venus is the relaxation, love planet, where we connect with somebody in a body way or just a non-cerebral way. That's why Venus is exalted in Pisces. It's all about letting go, surrender when you're in a romantic relationship, when you're trying to connect with somebody genuinely. You let go of that overly cerebral, hypercritical Virgo energy and just be in the presence of that person. When you have Venus in Virgo, and it's also with Rahu, so wherever the North Node is, it's going to amplify the planet. So her intellect is amplified because Mercury's there, and it's going to be very precise and intuitive. So she has a great intuition. She has a great ability to strategize. She probably has a lot of amazing ideas that people don't appreciate in the public sphere because we don't get to see her behind the scenes. But she's doing a lot of savvy, intellectual, smart moves that people don't appreciate because they just think she's a ditzy, plastic surgery Nepo baby. When in reality, some of those things might fit in a harsh way, but in reality, she's very intelligent. Her success is very much tied to her ability to understand the pulse and to read the room and to move through space and time on this wave of like, she kind of just knows what is going to hit with the public. And that's probably growing up in a family like the Jenners, the Kardashians, that she just developed that intuition, that ability to know, hey, this is the right thing I need to sell. This is the right post. This is the way I need to present myself. If it blah, blah, blah. But because her Venus is there, that more soft aspect of the being that wants to just be fulfilled through relationships and connection, it's going to be, she's constantly in her head. Even when she's supposed to be in a relationship, she's constantly thinking about things, overthinking about things, ruminating, and looking for all the imperfections or all the things that are wrong about the relationship, and not able to just let go, surrender, and be connected to another human being in a beautiful way. Finally, inner demons. So I say that because her moon is in Scorpio. That's tough. Moon does not like Scorpio. Moon is the sign of our deepest fears, traumas. It signifies death, transformation, not even letting go of the ego, but just a pummeling, a destruction, a ripping apart of the ego. Our, like I said, deepest fears, also our inner demons. So when you have the moon, which is our subjective experience, it's the way that we take in the world. You have somebody who is very much steeped in the darkest aspects of themselves. The shadow is very much concentrated in our Scorpio, also in Capricorn and other signs, but specifically for her, she has a deep fear of looking inside of herself and seeing the parts of herself she doesn't like. And that's most likely what's driving her, along with that Mars and Saturn, to get all these surgeries, to change her exterior, to present herself in this perfect, prim, sculpted way. And it's unhealthy, to be honest. But that's my opinion. She may disagree. So what does she do to heal these psychological blocks, to move forward in a more healthy and fulfilling and satisfying way, to develop her soul and her consciousness? Well, self-analysis. For that burnout, she needs to analyze herself and see, what problems am I trying to solve that are not for me to solve? What things am I trying to fix that only lead to failure? That's what happens when you have a Mars, Saturn starving. When Mars is looking at Saturn, or Saturn's in Mars signs like Scorpio and Aries. What problems have I been continuously trying to fix and just constantly dropping the ball or not fulfilling, not fixing? What am I just meant to ignore or let go of, or just endure? Saturn's all about enduring and being resilient and just trudging through and taking it on the chin, carrying the load and just saying, thank you, can I have some more? That's Saturn. When it's good, when it's healthy, when it's strong. And signs like Libra, the opposite sign, or its own signs like Capricorn and Aquarius. She needs to analyze herself to see, where is she wasting energy? Where can she take her foot off the gas because she needs to do less? Touch grass. For that neurosis, she needs to ground. She needs to learn how to just be in nature and just relax and let go and surrender with her partners. In this case, Timothy Chalamet. I don't know when you're going to watch this video. It might be a different person. Who knows? But learning how to get out of her head into her body, grounding, is a great way of doing that. And finally, face her shadow. When you have a moon in Scorpio, you are really plagued by inner demons, and you're going to find external ways to suppress those inner demons, those fears. But the beginning for her is always just facing your fears head on. So guiding her, which I would do, is take her into her subconscious mind and face these parts of herself that she is resisting, that she is running from in the external world with her success and abundance and fame and social media. She's probably somebody who very much feels an uncomfortable feeling and immediately runs to social media, runs to the internet, or runs to a substance or food or whatever to not feel those feelings, not face those demons, not have to endure the pain of being a flawed human being on this planet that we all are. So that was it. Appreciate your time. Would love a like and a subscribe if you wouldn't mind. Also, very curious to hear your opinions, if you can relate at all to any of the things I said because you have similar placements. Be super interesting to talk about it in the comments. Cheers.